Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gold Diggers, a show where we discuss stories of leadership and motivation with sports serving as an allegory. I'm your host, Carlos Pineda, your resident box-to-box midfielder or point forward, transitioning from esports to football and vice versa. In the previous episode, we had a discussion with former Philippine Ascol, Nate Berkey, encouraging us to believe in ourselves, trust the process, and persevere to fulfill our dreams. And we couldn't have funneled everything in those concepts without the help from my fellow gold diggers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome all of them, Simone, Relly, and Robbie.
Hey teammates, Simone here. Welcome back to the Gold Diggers.
It's Relly here. Here's another great show for us tonight, and we hope you can stick around. And this is going to be an exciting one, I promise you.
Thank you very much, Relly, and I'm very excited as well for this episode because today we get a chance to speak with a longtime friend, former teammate, and one of the people I consider to be one of the movers and shakers in Philippine sports. So we hope you stay tuned.
It's a pleasure to have all of you here, and as usual, we also have to introduce a new gold digger in the house. Now, our guest for today is a former Philippine Ascol, a former professional player for Kaya FC, Loyola Meralco Sparks, and Global FC, a former Amazing Race Philippines contestant, a role model who never runs out of energy and willpower for the progression of Philippine football amid the trials and tribulations it faces right now. A leader and a community builder, as evident from his involvement with his sports application called Laro, with the Sevens Football League, and his recently formed football organization named Maharlika FC. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Anton del Rosario.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here. Great to be in touch with old-time friends, Relly and Robbie. Simone, very nice to see you again, together with you, Carlos. I love how this show's going on. From the intro, I love the energy over here. After watching your last clip with Nate, it shows that you guys are very good advocates for the sport of football. And without people like you, the sport of football would just stay where it's at. But because of people like you, we have opportunities to make it grow. Thank you.
Oh man, Anton, that really, really warms my heart, without a doubt. All right, so I've checked your social media profile, and I realized that you've been very active in the football scene. Like, you've done a lot of projects in the past couple of years, and even in this pandemic, you still could salvage some of your time to be involved in football. So tell us, what have you been up to lately?
Lately, well, I've been swamped with my new team, Maharlika FC. I guess about two and a half months ago, I was asked to put in a team for the PFL. They were down to 5 teams. I guess one of the teams, Global FC, were in trouble, and I made a few phone calls and was able to put the team together. And now it looks like we're starting to trend up in the PFL community.
Oh, that's definitely good news to hear, without a doubt. I mean, I'm looking really, really excited for Maharlika Football Club moving forward in the PFL. I mean, you have the time to devote yourself into the football scene, as well as taking care of your family. And speaking of Maharlika, or going back to the topic of Maharlika, Anton, I have to admit, I commend you guys for doing a really, really good job in marketing the team, because you try to shape the approach. You try to involve the players on a more personal aspect, like you bring them to be relatable towards the audience. And I really, really like that, because it encourages everyone that, these football players are also human beings as well, that they could also connect with everyone else in their daily lives. And back to Maharlika, Anton, I was wondering, what made you decide to form Maharlika, or what are your intentions, your motivations, or what do you aim to accomplish with this club?
When it comes down to it, there's a lot. one of the things I like to put out there, right? Passion creates opportunity. Okay. I am very passionate about football. You know, football is one of my loves. It will always be a girlfriend, you know. So with that has sprung, you know, not only the Sevens Football League, but this opportunity to put together a professional team. Okay. With that, you know, I'm very much a realist. Okay. So when it comes down to things, I say it how it is, and I don't like to beat around the bush. Okay. So when this opportunity came about from the commissioner, Coco Torre, I said, let me try and put together a team. So I made a few phone calls, told people, look, I can't pay salaries, but would you be wanting this opportunity to be able to showcase what you have in the top league here in the country? Of course, that was my pitch to some people, but for other people like, let's say, Ali Borromeo, Eddie Magliari, Misa, Simon, it was more of a, hey, would you like to come out? Let's go have some fun, and let's all go play football together again, you know? So for some people, it turns into an opportunity to showcase themselves, but for people, it also turns into an opportunity to be able to play the sport they love again. For me, I look at it as an opportunity to be able to grow the sport from the youth level to the professional level, you know? So it's awesome, you know? That's why I say when it comes down to these things, it creates more than just one opportunity for one person. It creates multiple opportunities for multiple people, you know? And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to take on the team.
Oh, wow. I mean, I could really see that you're not the sort of person that's going to lie or to make some sort of flowery words. I mean, I was shocked, Anton, and I'm not bluffing. I was literally shocked. Like, can you imagine, given the circumstance that we have in football, that all of a sudden you announce that players are going to be paid a peso as salary? And there's a lot to tackle with regards to Maharlika, as well as your career in football. And my fellow gold diggers would want to converse more about that. So let's welcome them once again. Simone, Relly, and Robbie, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thanks, Carlos. And Anton, thank you so much for joining us today. It's funny because, you know, I've only seen you on the field and on TV, and now you're here with us on our podcast. So it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, man. In line with what you said about passion creates opportunities, I have a set of questions I prepared for you. So in the Across the Line podcast with Chris Greatwich in November 2019, you shared your thoughts on how the local professional league should be simplified, or in your words, dumbed down. You said this given what was happening with Global FC and their financial obligations, and how the professional league as a whole isn't progressing the way many of us hoped it would. And that's including the way all the clubs were working too. So I'd like to highlight the point on simplifying things. It seems parallel to how Maharlika FC is being run, especially in terms of how you put the team together, and it has made becoming a professional player more reachable. So was having a club like Maharlika FC something you had in your mind already for a long time?
Yes, I mean, you know, being a professional player, owning a professional club would always be a dream. You know, I'm glad that I was able to have this dream and have this opportunity to fulfill it. When it comes down to what you said about dumbing it down, I very much think that's needed to be done here in the Philippines. Main reason is sustainability. You know, when it comes down to it, if you're a football club and if we're not attracting enough fans or enough media value, then how are we going to get companies to come in and support what we're doing? That's one of the main things to be able to make the clubs, I guess, sustainable and keep on going. And we saw firsthand that without the support, clubs are going to fail. And that's what's been happening. And that's why our league has dropped down to 6 teams from what it was. I'm not sure. Relly, you probably know. How many teams did we have at the UFL at the
Oh, that's
top.
a lot. We'd hit about 20 teams combined, first and second division. So
Yeah. See, I mean, so we had close to 20 teams to be able to choose from, and now we have 6. You know, so it shows that the teams were not able to create the sustainability to be able to, I guess, support what they wanted to do. So here is where I came out and I offered 1 peso contracts to our players. You know, that's the number one thing that I had to do. I had to be very clear and very straightforward with each of the players that committed to come on board, because I don't want to be that person that promises and not fulfills. I don't want to end up being a global and show up to a game and only have 6 players come out, so they have to forfeit a game. This doesn't help football here in the country. It actually makes football look bad and go the opposite way. You know, and this is the stuff that we have to avoid to be able to turn around and make football successful and popular again. So I guess, yeah, it's something that I've always dreamt and wanted to do.
And you mentioned also sustainability, and you created the Philam Sevens. You had this running for about 4 years since 2016, and if we actually look into the idea behind the Sevens and even Maharlika, one would think that they're actually pretty simple. You know, you just want to provide more opportunities to play, and you want to bring the game to the people. I mean, with the Sevens, you have teams playing from Luzon, from Visayas, and from Mindanao. And you know, so regarding having more opportunities to play and bringing the game to the people, why do you care so much about these things?
You know, the more we spread and build a community of football, then the more, I guess, attention football will have and the more success football will have. And I know if we have more success and more support behind the sport of football here in the country, there is so much that can be done, especially from a youth level. When it comes down to it, right, I guess when building a sport, you always start from awareness to continuity to the professional level, right? So we're looking at awareness starting with the youth. And it's something that we have to focus on and we have to build, but we can't create that path if we don't have the end goal, which is the professional level. Okay, so if you create that professional level, then you create the dreams for the youth to aspire to be. And once you have that, then you could create a proper pathway. But what we don't have a sustainable professional level yet. And that's where we have to stop, take a look back, and see how can we make this sustainable so we could create that pathway for the youth all the way up to our professional league. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I look at things when it comes down to building the sport of football here. With our 7th league, we started with a group of guys, friends, and then it spun off to adding more teams. So actually, sorry, I have to correct you on that. We started in 2018. In February 2018, we started with 8 teams. Then we had our second season, which was in August with 10 teams. We were able to get our finals and semifinals on TV5. And then we ended up closing Philam as our main sponsor. So in 2019, we kicked it off with the bang, and we were able to include the youth, right? So I guess we took the proper steps to being able to make the Sevens Football League sustainable. In growing with a great partner like Philam Life, they've committed to helping us grow the sport of football through the Sevens Football League. And I think this is what needs to be done for the PFL as well.
Yeah, the development of football seems really close to your heart. And other than playing on, getting more of the youth playing, and what you're doing with the Sevens, you actually did something before that. Back in 2016, you launched a social app called Laro, spelled Laro, which was an app that allowed you to organize games or matches in different sports with whoever was using the social app. And Laurel was such a great concept, but unfortunately, it didn't take off. So, what did you get from that experience?
It's actually very good that it worked out the way it did. I really think the application is a great idea. I think it could still work to this day. Just needs to be put out the proper way. But I think it was a little bit early for its time. Robbie and I had that discussion as well, and he mentioned it too. It's still a great idea. People are out there always looking for pickup games. You imagine traveling to another country. I know it's not possible right now with this whole pandemic, but imagine traveling to another country and wanting to play football. You would love an application like that because you'd be able to search for the nearest game next to you, go meet some people, go have a kick around, and maybe have some beers afterwards. Who knows, And there you go. That's your opportunity to unite, meet some new people, and then you start building a community, right? So, it's really the proper steps to being able to create something successful. And unfortunately, the funding got cut short, so we had to shelf the project, and I just ended up moving on to the next passion project that I had, which was the Sevens football.
Did the challenges that you experienced in Laurel help in making sure that the Sevens would be as successful as it is now? And likewise, did what you learned there help make Maharlika FC happen?
Oh, for sure. It motivated me knowing that, I got to say, knowing that I failed in one thing pushed me to more to be successful in something else. And I guess, had it not failed, I'm not sure the Sevens would have been able to have the attention that I was able to give it during that time to be able to grow it to where it is now, because my attention might have been more focused on the role. So I guess things do happen for a reason, and I'm very happy it turned out the way it did.
Thanks for that, Anton. Now I'm going to hand you to Robbie.
I like what you said about that, Anton. So I can only imagine, like, as a businessman, as an owner and a leader, Laro, the Film Sevens, and now Maharlika, these things are not easy feats. Huh? So what is your approach in mounting these initiatives? And how are you able to cope with a tremendous amount of work to put these things up?
First thing, I was able to figure out the processes. The process in my head, to simplify it, I like to go with the opportunity to unity to community, right? If you look at all three of the businesses that I built, it's pretty much focused around that, okay? You see an opportunity, which is a hole in the industry, right? You take that opportunity, and what you have to do, you got to build the proper team to be able to make it sustainable, to be able to make it work, to be able to create opportunities for others, which then means that you have something that can be successful later on. And what you got to do from there, you got to start building the community behind it, the people who are going to support what you believe in, what your vision is. And luckily for all three of my projects that I've been able to work on, it's taken the similar steps. And with two of them, I think they've been going quite well. I think the passion side has a lot to do with it too. Seeing football is one of my loves. It works perfectly with what I like doing. It doesn't make work feel like work.
I love what you said about your finding your passion and then using your passion and starting your business, right? So it never feels like work. And I also believe, like we discussed this earlier, that we know that the lessons we learn in these sports initiatives really transcend to the other things we do in life, right? So just to recap what you just said, I love how you mentioned that all your businesses that you started all address a pain point that you're serving your consumers, right? And at the same time, you're building the proper team to address the challenges. So let me go to the next point on what makes you optimistic on having the team that you put together? Because from your previous press conferences, we were made aware that the co-owners of the team are your coaching staff as well as the people who are supporting the team, like your legal manager as well as your marketing manager. Can you tell us? Can you introduce your team members and tell us more about them and how you brought them together?
Yeah. So for these guys, when I first started the Sevens Football League, a person reached out. Her name was Denise Vittorio, and she just wanted to get into taking pictures. And I said, okay, well, if you want to learn how to take photos, why don't you come out to the sevens, and then I'll pay you 1,000 pesos. You take photos and then just send them to me afterwards. So she came every week, taking photos, getting to know the players, but then she kept on asking if she could do more. At the same time, she had a full-time job, and I'm just like, well, I guess, if you want to work this hard, then I'll find you some extra work. So from photographer, she ended up sort of being an assistant and then handling the communications to the Sevens Football League, which now has to deal with over 4,000 players. We have over, I think, 400 teams playing across the country, and we're in 6 different locations. So now she's our communications manager. From what she wanted to be was a photographer to handling all the comms for the Sevens Football League, right? But then to accompany her was a friend of mine who I went to school with and played football with, Choi Kolonsod, right? So Choi, he approached me and said, I want to get involved with the Sevens, and I want to do everything just because I love what you're doing with football. So I said, okay, I can't pay you, but if you're willing to do some stuff, then of course I'll take you on board. And Choi agreed to it, and he turned into the manager of partnerships for the Sevens Football League. So he's been handling partnerships with all of the sponsors, and he's also been handling some of the other stuff as well. So next person was Cedric Audrial. Cedric, he's very good with the football community. He's very expressive, and he's quite social. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, I know you got a little bit of marketing experience, and you're very good on Facebook when it comes down to football. Would you be able to handle some of the marketing for the Sevens? So he came on board, and why I like him a lot was because I told Cedric, this is how much I could afford. Would you be willing to come on for this much? And I promised him I'd get him more later. What he said, he actually said, instead of 25,000, give me 20,000, and it's fine. So he actually gave me a cheaper salary than what I was willing to give him. And for him to be able to come out and do that shows that, okay, you're not in it just for the money. You're in it for the love of the sport and wanting to see this grow and wanting to be a part of the family. So these are the characteristics that I saw in each one of these guys. And when this opportunity to operate Maharlika FC came about, I felt they were deserving of being a big part of it. So I brought them each on as co-founders of the club.
Yeah, I like what you said. So basically what I heard from you is that apart from the passion, what you brought in is really cross-functional experts to align with your vision, and you got them on the bus. So I love that. So that's with the management side. But let's talk about the players. So given the current situation, the pandemic, and you do have plans on acquiring sponsors and submitting whatever is required for Maharlika to be a full-fledged team. In case it doesn't pan out because these are challenging times, how would you convince your players to continue to maintain their belief in your footballing philosophy?
I mean, well, the best thing is that when it comes down to it, to operate a football team, you got to find people who are like-minded. I mean, if all of these guys didn't care about the growth of football, they probably wouldn't be playing for 1 peso. So all of these people are fighting for something. And whether that fight is to grow the sport, it all has to do with football. All of these players want something to prove and are fighting for something, which makes it quite easy for me to believe in that it will be able to be sustainable. Especially after the last campaign that we ran, which was pretty interesting. I'm not sure if you guys caught it. It was called Pisong Pangarap. So what we did, we had over 40 trialists via Zoom come out from Maharlika FC fighting for 3 spots on our team. Okay, we cut it down to 7 players, and we were able to interview each one offline and online. And it was amazing to hear the sacrifices these guys were willing to make to play for the team. To hear that people were willing to sacrifice this to be able to come play for no salary and just to have the opportunity, and knowing that there are 37 other ones that are willing to do the same, makes me very confident that Maharlika FC can be running for a very long time, because there are people like these three who won their slots, who want the chance to play, who want to fight for it. And these are the people we really want coming out, because it shows the realness of football. It shows how you could have nothing but create something. You could always accomplish that dream, and we want to be here to support that. It was a very nice campaign that we ran, and I think what that showed to the other players who we had already selected for our other 27, it shows that this means a lot more than just going out there to play football against these other teams. This shows that it means it's dreams for other people. It's opportunities that other people would die for. Millions of players around the world dream of this opportunity. And I think what we were able to do with the Pisong Pangarap was to be able to show the other players on our team how much this means. And hopefully the other players from the other teams see it as well. But I hope they don't use it against us, because I don't want them coming out, trying to fight against us with that much more motivation. No.
Yeah, I like what you said. So it seems so much to me like, I mean, the marketing is very spot on. Like you market yourselves as koponan ng masa, and the key things that you've done so far are like initiatives like you just met, Pisong Pangarap, which is basically like a job interview that's exposed to the public, right? So what you're doing is you're actually involving the fans in the decision-making process and in choosing the right fit for your team. It's very, I think it's a fresh take on how to do things, and what that basically does, it really grows your community. So that's what I like about what you're doing. It seems like you have a very good grasp of knowing your audience. And the other key change I saw that you've adapted over the past 2 months is like, how you first came out with your marketing materials. You always spoke in English. All of your interviews or press conferences were done in English. But since consumer feedback came in that if you were koponan ng masa, then why don't you speak Filipino, right? And you have since adjusted. So these are things that I find very, very interesting and spot on into your strategy. And now, related to knowing your audience, let's put that to the test a little bit. So let's just say, pretend I'm one of the players you'd like to recruit. What would the main things be for you to highlight to me so that you would get me on board to play for Maharlika?
Well, Robbie, for you, I would say, Robbie, let's get those boots back on you. You are 37, 38 years old now. Age is nothing but a number. If I'm out there kicking a ball, I would want you out there kicking a ball with me. I've even tried to offer you a slot for this team, I believe. And, I mean, that's what I'd love to be able to do with you. Go out there, be able to play the sport that we love, show that you could still kick the ball a little bit, but be able to use your experiences and pass it on down to the youth that are on our team. That's the main point, us older guys out there. We need to be able to pass on our experiences and our knowledge to the younger ones, because I really believe that the younger ones, who are the future of the sport in the country, need to have these experiences to then pass on to their peers. Not enough youth kids have these experiences which are then passed on to their peers who don't know that there's a professional football league here. A lot of these kids don't know that. They don't know that, hey, they can make a living out of playing football here in the Philippines. And if we have these kids spreading the word to the other kids, maybe it motivates the other kids to want to compete and turn into what these kids are doing, playing for Maharlika FC.
I like what you said. So it does really show that you know your audience and you know how to speak with them. And I do believe in the same things, right? So at this point, at this stage in our lives, I think it's about giving back, right, and teaching the rest how else they can be standouts in what they're doing as well. So if I had the chance, Anton, if I had the lungs for it, I'd definitely sign up. But I'm gonna give Choi and Roxy a call right after this webcast.
I was gonna say, are we supposed to offer you a contract now or what?
But yeah, I love the initiative. I love what you're doing so far, and we wanna learn more. So I'm passing it off to Relly for more questions. Relly.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, and Ton, if you need a third string keeper, I'm right here, man.
Hey, see, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about, you know?
It can be like
Unity, let's do it.
maybe like a Dennis Quaid on any given Sunday, man.
Awesome.
Give Cedric a run for his money, man. I'm just kidding. No, okay. So, I've been thinking about this whole interview, right? And I'm thinking of throwing you a question from one sports marketing person to another, right? So I think you pretty much established yourself as one, with all these successful leagues and apps that you produce and everything. Now, we go back again to, the Film Sevens, and, you see how the Film Sevens has risen, considering, you've been part from, 2010, you're part of the Miracle of Hanoi, all the way to the success of the UFL, and then suddenly the decline of football and football leagues in the country. And here you are with Film Sevens, rising to the challenge, and then coming out with it as being one of the most sought after tournaments that we've had in a long time. Now, from a business point of view, let's say with talking to sponsors and partners, you got TV5 to cover your matches, you got Film Sevens. In a state of football right now where it's such a big challenge to actually get these guys on board, how do you convince them to actually come on board?
Persistence, man. I mean, I'm telling you, if you have a word with CMO of AIA Philam Life, Mr. Leo Tan, he'll tell you that I would flood him with emails. I wouldn't actually flood him with emails, but I'd update him often about what we'd be doing with the league, stuff like that, because, I mean, they're a company that you would want to have as a partner. And with that persistence, I was quite confident in being able to do what I envisioned, and I guess that confidence was seen from the different partners that we had. And with that confidence, from season to season, I was able to show the growth, and I was able to come through and deliver what I promised them. And being able to do that was able to establish this long-term partnership with each of my partners, from TV5 to AIA to Bell and Dragon, Adidas, Boot Camp, Jollibee. So I have to thank all of these guys also for taking the risk. That's why, big shout out to AIA for taking the risk on me and the Sevens Football League. I'm just happy that I was able to come through because we've created this amazing partnership where they're in line with my vision and they want to do things to help support and grow football here in the country. Hence, David Beckham.
That's great. And and I happened to attend, a few Sundays, right? When you play the Film Sevens, and I actually like, how it was all very festive, right? It was pure matches all throughout, but at the outside you had concessionaires, you had food for everyone, and then you had side games or what do you call this, palaro for these kids. So while they're waiting, they can win prizes. I think even close to clinics. But speaking of Beckham, and I know he was here for the AIA Film Life Live Better Expo, right? And I know that you were hands-on with that one, taking care of the kids clinic. But how was that? How was that actually being with David Beckham? I mean, something that every football player dreams of, And what kind of lessons did you learn from him?
I mean, inspiring and motivating. Okay. This guy, to be clear, I wasn't a fan of David Beckham. I thought he was just a pretty boy who was overrated, who was an overrated soccer player. I was able to get on the field with them against LA Galaxy back in 2012, and I sort of ate my words about him just being a pretty boy because he was a pretty damn good soccer player, right? But then when he got out there during the clinic and I was walking him around, he's the one who actually took the initiative to want to get involved, want to go run around with the kids, want to go play with them. And when we started doing that, I noticed that he was moving harder and working harder than the others. And I was just like, wow, this guy really must enjoy every moment being out here on the field with these kids. It's not just looking at it as work. And for a guy who's probably done something like this a million times, to be able to do this again and again and still feel the same way is very, very inspiring. One of the things that stuck out most was during the end of the clinic, he ended up signing one kid's shirt, and then all of a sudden a line of 100 kids come up and he gets on his knees and he's sitting there signing every shirt. And for him to be able to do that because he says you sign one, you have to sign them all, shows me what kind of man he is. He's very committed, he's very fair. And from that day forth, I was definitely a fan of David Beckham.
And that's great. Yeah. And I know that David Beckham also has this humanitarian side to him, right? I think he was here a few years back. I forget, was that for Yolanda? Yolanda, right? So he traveled to, I think, to Leyte just to see,
UNICEF, I think, or something.
Yeah, to see what's over. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna shift back now to what Rob was talking about earlier about Maharlika FC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could say right now, proudly, you can say you're a team owner of a professional club. But I am sure this is something this is new territory for you, right? And we're curious to know, and the viewers are curious to know, what is the mindset right now in you becoming a team owner? I mean, how did you prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally for these things, and what are the challenges are you experiencing right now?
Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, there's always going to be some risk, and that's actually one of the best things that I heard from the 7 contestants who were trying out for the team. Number one was them taking the risk to give up what they would give up to be able to play for the team. And, in order to be successful in something that you want to do and something that you've dreamt about doing, you got to take that risk. So I know when it comes down to Maharlika FC, I'm taking a risk because I'm responsible for 30, 40, 50 plus people here, because I have to put together a team to make sure that we are competing in the PFL. And I also have to make sure that we're going to be competitive, because I don't look into these things wanting to be a loser, man. I'm going in there wanting to win one of these AFC slots. So we'll be buying, even though these guys are getting $1, they're going to be fighting for a slot for that AFC title. Not title, but the AFC slot here for the PFL. But when it comes down to Maharlika, I'm very confident in it. With the things that we've been doing from the marketing side, it's given me a lot of confidence in the way we're operating things because of the reaction of the people. It makes me very happy because I know that I've been able to help several kids and maybe 30 people fulfill dreams. And knowing that allows me to sleep better at night. And it motivates me to want to make sure that all of this works for them. Knowing that people are reaching out to me to want to be part of this team, that's something that's very hard to do. it's hard to get to a point for people to reach out to you. But when people are doing it, that means that you're doing something right. And as long as that keeps happening, I believe I'll be on that right path. So I need to make sure that people are always coming here and wanting to be a part of what we're doing. Because the more I hear that, then the more I know that we're doing things right.
No, I agree. And yeah, the mileage that you've been getting, especially on social media, has gotten us all tuned in, and curious to see how it's going to pan out. And the creative way of actually forming the team, cliche as it sounds, like thinking out of the box, doing something different, and it's actually work at this point. So we're all just very curious and wishing you the success. But before we go off topic, I think Simone has an additional question to the whole Maharlika FC topic.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. So it seems, Anton, the community building you guys are doing seems to be gathering steam. And we've noticed that you guys are starting to get support after all these campaigns you put out. And I'd like to bring up, as an example, how recently Lion City Foundation sent some support to Cedric Adriel, who is one of your keepers and is also part of your core team on the back end. So how do you feel about that? And, like the way I see it, what's happening now is you guys are getting people to care about Maharlika FC. And it's going towards the direction of making people sort of want to treat Maharlika FC as their home team. And, which to me also is a reflection of how if people believe in you and what you do, they find ways to help you out and contribute to what you do. And it also reminds me of, how in other countries, clubs are being funded by people who care about them, by the town they represent and their fans, whether it be in the form of season tickets, memberships, or donations, what have you. Imagine if Maharlika reaches that level. Is that a possibility you guys have thought of?
It's funny you bring that up. Well, first, thanks for those words. I mean, yeah, it does look like we're on the right track. When we had our press release, one of the toughest questions was a lot of teams have wanted to take on the line, Team of the Masses, Koponan ng Masa. And they said, how are you going to differentiate your team from the others who have sort of staked the claim? Well, we're here and we're really trying to listen to our fans. When it comes down to it, we've asked the fans, who do you think we should sign next? They put out different names and we happened to listen to them and we ended up reaching out to Waco Kanyas. So Waco ended up saying yes, and the fans appreciated that. Opening up our trials, opening up our Zoom sessions to the people so that they could come in and join our sessions. These are the things that we want to do to be able to build our community, to be that team of the masses, right? We've already reached out to several different, leaders in different locations, right? From Cavite to Naga to Butuan to, I think we have Manila. I think we have 5 or 6 different fan clubs already that we have directors for. Now, we reached out to guys who were influential in each of their different areas to ask them if they would like to be able to help us grow our family. And now we have them on board and we're running little prizes and raffles. If they reach a certain amount of followers or likes in each of their pages, then we'll send them a mask. We'll send them a shirt. We'll send them a brochure. And that goes back to the different packages that you were talking about, Simone. When it comes down to it, we are looking at different packages and stuff for different tiers. We could start out with what I really want to do is make a brochure of our team so then people actually know who's on our team and what our team is about. Because it's something that teams don't really do out here. But if you go elsewhere around the world, it's something that's given to these guys who are part of your community. But I do want to highlight something that you said. The Lion City Foundation, you bring that up and it gives me chills. Why? Because it shows that there are football fans, football supporters out there who are willing to step out and support and make a change, who are step out and willing to help. They see our team is, well, it's struggling with cash, so they want to come out and help. And not many people offer things like this. And when I saw that and I read it, I'm just like, it really does feel like we're reaching the people now, because they're coming in there, and it's not just giving a shirt or giving a mask. These guys are giving actual money to be able to take care of traveling fund for one of our players. And it's heartwarming when it comes down to it. You know, it's really, it's great to hear things like that, especially in these times. And I do hope that there are more that end up coming out and doing the same thing, you know, for some of the other players, because I'm sure all the players could use all the help that they could get. We could provide the opportunity. When it comes down to it, hopefully other people will be able to help with that opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Anton. And we hope for all the best for you guys in Maharlika FC. Carlos, would you like to add anything to that?
Oh, well, Anton, you know, given your backstory, given the struggles you experience with the Philippine football setting, and given your constant movement, your constant obsession for your love for the game, now I'm going to ask you this question, all right? And I want a very sincere answer from you. Now, what do we tell the leaders, to our fellow gold diggers, who are challenged with trying to begin or lead movements, campaigns, or projects in their respective careers or lives, especially during trying times right now?
When it comes down to it, I mean, I said it earlier, if you're looking to build something, opportunity, unity, community. Opportunity, you need to find something that where there is a problem, where there is a hole, you got to come in and you got to try and fix it. But when you're fixing it, you make sure that it's not just an opportunity for yourself, it's an opportunity for many. Because if you have that opportunity for many, that's when you could reunite the people. You could unite the people to do something good and do something bigger. Once you have that, then that's when you could start building your community. You know, so I mean, if there was something to take out of tonight, I'd say it was those three things: opportunity, unity, community.
Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 3 of the most important lessons that you could learn from Anton del Rosario. And please, please let me reiterate, mark this on a stone. Mark this on a stone. Always remember this. Opportunity, eliminating barriers to entry. Unity, getting the right people on the bus. And community, building a sustainable future. All right, so we're about to end today's session with our exciting segment known as Crunch Time. So, what are the rules of Crunch Time? Well, it's very simple. We're going to ask you some minimalist questions, and Anton, you're going to respond with just short answers. No need to explain unless if we have to. So, Anton, are you ready for this for Crunch Time?
Shoot.
All right, here we go. Let's start in 3, 2, 1, and Adidas or Nike?
Adidas.
Okay, there. Protein shake or fruit shake?
Protein shake.
Okay. Poker or Call of Duty?
Oh man, see, that's tough, man. How about Call of Duty while playing poker?
You gotta choose one.
Oh, okay, so there's like a hybrid, metamorphosis poker combined with Call of Duty. Okay, that's a very interesting answer. All right, next. Sneakers or dress shoes?
Sneakers.
Okay, next. Facebook or YouTube?
Facebook.
Facebook, all right. Boxers or briefs?
Depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
Okay, so if you're in a happy mood, what would you go for?
I'd probably go more boxers, a little bit more free flowing. If I was in a sexy mood, I'd probably throw on some nice looking briefs,
All right, okay. Interesting. All right. Sauna or swimming pool?
Swimming pool.
Swimming pool. All right, next. Upper body workout or lower body workout?
Upper body workout. I
Upper
do
body.
enough on the field, dude.
All right, okay, next. Six-pack abs or boulder-looking biceps?
Six-pack abs.
Okay, six-pack abs. There you go. All right, more questions, but this time football-related. Okay, here we go. Short or long pass?
Short.
Short. All right, next. Clearing the ball with your foot or with your head?
With my head.
Oh, with your head. Okay, next. Bicycle kick clearance or bicycle kick goal?
Bicycle kick goal, baby.
Oh, goal. All right. All right, here. Let's go for your two players that you might have some sort of like connection with. Steven Gerrard or David Beckham?
Oh man. see, man, could I take a pass there?
You want to take a pass?
Yeah,
All right. All
Steven Gerrard was my dude. If there was a guy I'd want to play next to, it'd be Steven Gerrard over David Beckham.
Okay.
It's, yeah. I mean, David Beckham, hey, anything off the field, I got you, man. You're my idol. On the field, if it was between him and Gerrard, it's got to be Gerrard.
All right. Okay, Gerrard. All right. Next, final question. Unless if my teammates are going to add up. So here we go. Who do you think is going to win this weekend? Chelsea or Liverpool?
Liverpool.
All right, Liverpool. Okay. All right. So to my fellow gold diggers, would you like to add up some more questions?
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ooh, Messi, man. Messi.
FIFA or Pez?
FIFA.
Ali Borromeo or Eddie Magliari?
Neither.
Peace, guys.
I have one.
All right, go.
Cedric Adriel or Relly San Agustin?
Oh,
Mm.
I gotta go with my teammate, Cedric. Hell yeah, Cedric, I got you.
Man.
Alright.
So that's it. Your 1 minute is up. Congratulations, Anton.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. That was so fun, man. I really appreciate the time, guys. Especially being able to catch up with the four of you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Anton. Before we wrap everything up, Anton, would you mind to tell if you have any final messages that you have in mind?
Final words. Let's say first, I want to say thank you guys for having me on your show. Second episode. So congratulations to all of you. Hopefully this is something you guys continue to do. We will support you. Thank you for allowing me to share Maharlika FC, the 7, the rule, and the love for football. Okay, to all of you out there, we're trying to create this movement for football. All of you football players, football fans, football supporters, come out, like our pages, support what we're doing. Let's bring us all together and speak as one voice to the whole Philippines. If we all come together as a football community, we could prove that we are deserving of being one of the top sports in the country.
All right, so there you go, the call to arms mentioned by Anton del Rosario. But he's not the only one who's going to express like his final messages. Relly, Simone, and Robbie, tell us what we have to offer in the next few weeks.
Well, first of all, thank you again to the viewers for tuning in. The Gold Diggers, catch us again next Saturday at 8 p.m. This time we'll have two distinguished gentlemen that we're talking about sports law. We have attorney Mickey Ingles and executive director of the UAP, attorney Rebo Sagisag. So please catch us. If you have any questions for us, you can email us at golddiggersph at gmail.com, or you can send your questions at our Facebook page, the Gold Diggers PH.
And of course, again, thank you, Anton, for joining us today and for allowing us to dig into your story and your passion and for sharing so openly. I wish you all the best with the Sevens and Maharlika FC and all your other endeavors. And now to our listeners, our teammates, we hope you could share with us on Facebook your thoughts and what you learned from this episode and tag the Gold Diggers PH. Or you could simply leave a comment on our video uploads on Facebook and YouTube. We'd super love to hear from you guys, so please, please, please don't be shy. You know, like Itzy, not shy, not May. And by the way, we reached more than 500 likes and follows on our Facebook page since the launch of our first episode in early September. Yes! And so maraming salamat sa inyong suporta, teammates. And we hope that you could continue to support us by sharing our page and posts and by leaving comments. And of course, we will continue to find ways to improve so we can provide you with good and relatable content. Now, RDV, take it away.
Thanks, Simone. So, Anton, thank you very much for what you're doing for football or for Philippine sports in general, and for being an exemplar that other leaders may hopefully aspire to be. So congratulations on everything that you're doing, and we wish you the best of luck. Now, to all of our teammates, fellow Gold Diggers, please watch out. Stay tuned for our other passion project that we will be launching very soon. It's called Pitch in PH. Just follow our Facebook page for more updates. So Carlos, take it away.
Well, there you have it. That sums everything up for today's session. Once again, my name is Carlos Pineda, and this is Gold Diggers. Remember to dream, dig in, and win. See you next time on our next episode.